Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?
Fashionista, dog napper, the embodiment of evil, or just misunderstood? In Disney's upcoming film Cruella, we're going back in time and meeting Estella, the woman who came before the infamous Cruella. How is Glenn Close, aka the original Cruella, involved in the new film? What secrets will we learn about the evil legend?
It's her. It's that devil woman.
Once upon a time in 1956, a woman named Dodie Smith wrote a story called The 101 Dalmatians, and so began the legend of Cruella De Vil. We know that when she was young, she was a mischievous child with black and white pigtails who was literally expelled from elementary school for drinking ink. Odd, we know, but could you expect anything less from this famed villain? While Cruella seems completely made up, the character created by Dodie Smith was actually inspired by a famous American actress, Tallulah Bankhead, though Cruella was meant to be an evil parody of her. 5 years later, the story took to the screen. The shrill voice and distinct look became known to the world.
I know, Rogers.
We saw an oddly obsessive woman whose love for fur drove her to complete madness. 40 years after the book was released, Glenn Close gave an even more distinctive face to the name, helping to establish Cruella as one of the most evil Disney legends in history. Though Close wasn't the only memorable version. The classic animated film, of course, as well as appearances in House of Mouse, Descendants, and Once Upon a Time. But who was she before her life of crime and evil?
I'm Cruella.
Who is Estella? Well, it's Cruella before she was cruel. The upcoming Emma Stone film isn't going to be the typical live-action remake, since it isn't a remake of 101 Dalmatians, but rather is diving into the life of Estella and what made her become so cruel. Set in 1970s London, Estella is a fashionista ready to become the next famous designer. It seems like she's made it when she gets a job working at a fashion house in London until reality hits and she understands that she'll only be cleaning for them. Estella knows she has greater potential, and this sense of entitlement is eventually what leads to her downfall. We also know that she and Anita, the owner of the Dalmatians, have known each other since they were children and were even close when Estella went through difficult circumstances in her life, like losing her father.
Must be Cruella, your dearly devoted old schoolmate.
So let's be honest. Not having the job you want doesn't exactly warrant becoming a dog napper and engaging in a life of evil. We don't know if the Disney film will get into it, but there's likely a chance that Cruella struggles with some type of mental illness that was left untreated. Some speculations say that she may suffer from depression, bipolar disorder, psychotic fits and reckless driving, and histrionic personality disorder, which is the desire to be the center of attention constantly and is ultimately damaging to everyone involved. Maybe the new film will give us some insight on her conditions, potentially offering a cautionary tale showing how damaging mental illness can be if a person doesn't have the resources or support they need. While the movie is called Cruella, maybe we'll better understand who Estella is, learning the story from her point of view.
I live for furs. I worship furs.
Enough about Estella. On to Cruella. We know her as the villain we love to hate. She's bigger than life and has an incomparable flair. Passionate for high art and fashion? What's not to love, honestly? Okay, well, her dog-napping ways are definitely not great. Her reasoning for the obsession with the Dalmatians? The spots on their fur are unique, and she believes designing clothes with their fur would bring her more success and money. Yeah, we're definitely not fans of that idea. Despite this, she's still an extremely popular character, so there are some fans hoping we won't be presented with another misunderstood villain. Some fans want the Cruella we've come to know and appreciate in our own ways to remain as she is, pure evil. After all, she doesn't have good intentions for those pups. Considering the fact that Glenn Close is acting as an executive producer on the film offers a hint that we might see the classic Cruella in all her evil glory. That combined with a 13+ rating, a total rarity for a Disney movie. The chances of a daring film that has Emma Stone cackling that signature cackle? Well, let's just say the chances look pretty good. Whether or not she's presented as misunderstood or pure villain, we're positive Stone will bring a stellar performance to the screen and remind us all what a wild character Cruella De Vil is. Cruella De Vil. If she doesn't scare you, no evil thing will. We're definitely wondering how true these lyrics will ring after we see the origin story with the always charming Emma Stone. Whether or not she's presented as good or bad, we can't wait to see this legendary character brought to life once again. Do you think Emma Stone will do the role justice?